Hey, if you are here, let me know, one, that you can hear me, two, that my phone is orientated the right direction. I don't want to be cruising down here and everybody looking at me sideways. Excuse me. I'm on my morning walk and just is having some thoughts about people and performance mod. It's a little darker than it normally is. It's normally bright light by now, but it overcast, may rain today, so it's a little cloudy. So hey, welcome in. Uh, let's talk about top dead center. Hey, let's talk about top dead center. Since it's just me and you, no, we're not gonna do that. This is not an old Chevy. Oh my gosh. Hey, can you hear me okay? I got one earbud in. Don't know if that's good enough for you to hear me okay. And also let me know if the screen is orientated the proper way. Should I be this way or should I flip my phone horizontally? Okay, cool. So, I guess, first of all, when we talk about paying to play, there ain't nothing free with doing performance stuff on the car. Upgrading the turbo, putting in different cams, and what a lot of people don't realize is professionals that race cars is where this inspiration comes from. Some of these professionals tear an engine down after every race. They got a team of mechanics and performance specialists that, hey, they know what it takes to make the car win the race. And they're tweaking that car after every race to try to make sure that happens. They're fixing weak links. They're doing it. That stuff costs money, man. Just the parts alone and engine checkout after a race probably costs more than some people make all month. Your average person, grown behind man, makes about $4,300 a month. I was at a shop that specializes in Volvos, and they were, I apologize for the phone moving around. It's hard walking and holding the phone. Anyway, this guy was putting a rebuilt turbo in the car that I call it on steroids. The turbo was going to be a nice performance turbo, and the turbo cost about $3,800. So I don't know why it popped in my head. I asked him how many miles does he thinks that guy will get out of that turbo, and he said he'd be fortunate to get 35,000 miles out of that turbo. Now, if you buy the car with that basic turbo installed without any modifications to it, that turbo should last 200,000 miles. Now, you're going to spend $3,800 to have a turbo modified, rebuilt, rebalanced, put it in the car. That's a soft racing spec turbo. Now you take it from a 200,000 mile longevity to a 30,000 mile longevity. And me, that turbo won't last a year. I'm putting close to 40,000 miles a year on cars. So you gotta pay to play, man. You have to pay to play. And that's not counting other modifications. That's just the turbo. You start putting on performance suspension. In a normal world, the suspension that came in a car that's a good quality car, Volvo, BMW, Mercedes, quality cars. And there's other quality cars out there too, don't get me wrong. But the suspension struts, for example, 125 to 150,000 miles in a normal environment. North Carolina, Raleigh, Dallas, Texas, places like that where the roads are decent. You come to a place like Cincinnati, Newark, some of these other places, man, them freaking roads are bad. Like, they hate performance cars in Cincinnati. You guys, performance car in Cincinnati, you're rattling your jaw to death with these bad roads. Normal suspension might last 100, 125,000 miles. You put on performance suspension, 60,000 miles, you did good. It's just not going to last with these bad roads. It's hitting potholes every day that in a normal environment you might hit once a week. You're hitting 3 or 4 a day. Hard bumps, windshield cracking, crazy bumps. So you throw some performance stuff on that stuff, just not going to last like your normal everyday stock stuff. So you got to pay to play. I don't know why people think, especially broke people, like people that got to check the balance in their checking account more than twice a month. Why do you think you want to get in this performance game? Stay in your lane. Man, I'm telling you, it can get expensive real quick. Now, if you don't have a lot of other expenses, you live in your mom's basement, your dad paying for your car insurance, you don't have no bills other than this is what you spend your play money on, I can see that. It's not going to happen overnight. You might have to gather your parts. Heck, I gathered parts for 3 years before I did performance mods on Panther. And heck, original turbo probably had 280,000 on it before I started doing performance mods, and really didn't kick into performance mods until I did my manual swap. Upgraded turbo, upgraded exhaust manifold, upgraded cams, upgraded fuel injectors, did a performance tune, and man, I'm on my 3rd turbo since. It just can be expensive. And if you want to pay somebody else to do that, it's a mess. I was once on my morning walk. I lived in this apartment complex in Little Rock, Arkansas. Across the street, well, a block and a half away, was a nice community, like where rich folks live. And I used to walk my little block and a half down the street, walk through their neighborhood. Heck, if I get bit by one of their dogs, I'm liable to get paid. I get bit by a dog around here, I'm just going to be hurt. People going to disown the dog. The dog going to be trying to get in the house. They're going to be keeping the dog out like, that ain't my dog. I don't know whose dog that is. You got bit, sir. You need to find the dog owner. The dog going like, look, I got a key. Let me in. Nope. You ain't getting in here. You done bit somebody. That's going to be expensive. Walked in one of those neighborhoods and walked past this house on the golf course. The guy was blow drying his Lexus. I don't know what the symbol is on those fancy Lexuses that are performance. They got some special symbol on there. He wouldn't even dry that thing with a cloth. I mean, they make some really nice drying towels for those. No, not his Lexus. His Lexus was being blow dried. And kind of behind it a little bit was this 850R that looked beat up. So I stopped. Excuse me, sir. Here he come in his golf shorts and golf shirt. Can I help you? Yes, sir. I was wondering if that raggedy car back there might be for sale. Man, we waiting on a tow truck to come drag that thing out of here right now. I said, really? how much they gonna give you for it to drag it out of here? He said, I don't know, 250, 275. It don't matter to me as long as it's gone. I said, hey, if I give you 276, can I come get it in about an hour? He said, sure. I said, okay, call, cancel the tow truck. Tell them you changed your mind. You got the title for it? Yeah, I got the title for it. Okay. So the rest of my walk home, I called a friend of mine, had to borrow $276. You know, I had quit working for a while, taking care of my late wife. So, buddy of mine sent me $500. I took the guy $280, something like that. A couple hours later, drug the car home. His son was out in the wilderness, ran over a big rock, knocked a hole in the oil pan, and tried to drive home. That's what I tell people. A tow is cheaper than an engine. So the car needed an engine. I parked the car in the back of the parking area of the apartment complex, which was where I normally parked anyway, close to where I was. And they just didn't have parking in front of your unit. Backed it up there and started looking for an engine. Man, this was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I'm looking for an engine for an 850R. Took me 3 months. Traveled 3 states looking for engines for this car. I lived in Little Rock, Arkansas. I finally found an engine in Dallas, Texas. My best friend down there named Kelvin, we've been friends for 20 years or more. He wants to go down to the salvage yard, help me get this engine out of this car. 2.3. I get to the salvage yard. Soon as they open, kinda, within 30 minutes. We're in Dallas, Texas. It's already 92 degrees. My wife and his wife wanted to come down with us. I told them drive different cars. I'm not going to be taking y'all home in 30 minutes. It may take me 2-3 hours to get this engine out. So within 30 minutes, they were gone. It was 96 in 30 minutes. Now it's almost 10 o'clock. The engine pull thing that you lift the engine out of the car with is 100 yards away. My friend Kelvin goes to get that while I'm tearing this engine out. I can tell it appeared, if I'm not mistaken, that engine was put into that car. So it's going to go into another car. I couldn't see nothing wrong with the engine. We pulled it out and took that engine out of that junkyard. It was I guess they call it a long block. It had accessories still attached to it. We were trying to get out of that heat. By the time I got that engine out, it was 105 in Dallas. And I never heard a grown man cry so much as I heard Kelvin cry. That's been, like I said, probably 12 years ago. Every time I see Kelvin, he still complain about that day. That brought that grown man to his knees. We had water, Gatorade out there. We get to the register, and they start tacking on fees for other things that was attached to the engine. A turbo, exhaust manifold, alternator. I wasn't really that aware of what they consider the long block and the short block then. They start tacking on fees. I start taking stuff off. Remember, I was broke. Calvin like, what's going on? I said, man, they adding on stuff for these other parts. $35 here, $20 here, $50 here. He like, no. We're not taking nothing else off. The rest of that stuff is a gift from me. Just put it on the tab. We getting out of here. It's too hot to be taking stuff off the engine. I got to get out of the heat. So, long story short, I traveled 3 states looking in other salvage yards and stuff for an engine that I thought was good. And that was 12 years ago. So now, I think it's even harder. You gotta buy a whole dang car to get an engine that's running. And who's got time that's got a normal life and a normal job and maybe a family to run around from state to state looking for an engine? Now you want to start doing performance mods on that engine and probably blow it within a year. Man, not normal people, not often. So these cars, when they blow an engine, burn a valve, blow a head gasket, you got to get creative to get that car running again. A lot of people are putting in newer model engines in their cars to get them running. Most people doing this, they got another car, man. They're not doing this to their main car. There's something else they're driving. So now, because we as humans are being told that it's okay to be lazy. Like, hey, be lazy, that's okay. We got grown men that don't have jobs. My girl's got a job. Why I gotta get a job? I'll get a job when I feel like it. Why should I check the oil? That car ran and parked here. Why do I need to do maintenance on it? I'm gonna start it up and drive it until that timing belt blows, until it runs smooth out of oil. Now I got a car that is near 30 years old, burning oil, and I'm too lazy to check the oil, and that's okay. I'm just gonna keep driving until something happens. And then bam, when something happens, guess who get a message? Robert DIY, the 850 P80 Savior. Man, I don't wake up in the morning and pray that God has delivered another engine to my garage. I got more problems than that, because I'm checking my oil. I'm keeping my coolant topped off, because I ain't got time to be looking for no engine for my car. But other people don't. It is okay to be lazy, and nobody's allowed to shame you for it. Well, it ain't got to be shame. It's got to be paid for, one way or another. You blow that engine in your car because you're too lazy to check the oil or keep the coolant topped up or whatever's going on there. When that engine stops working properly, usually because of lack of maintenance and daily care, somebody's got to pay. Somebody's got to pay for an engine. So my buddy Dan bought a car, and for some kind of way, we ended up tearing that car apart. And I say we because I got involved in it somehow. And one of the things that I came out with was an engine. Non-turbo 850 NA. I don't got use for a non-turbo engine. The only use I got with these cars that are non-turbo is the manual swap parts. And Dan took all that. So somehow I ended up with the engine at home. Well, I get a call. Somebody has bought an S70. It didn't last long. The engine blew the timing belt. So the car he bought had an engine transplant, and the timing belt wasn't done. He driving around, it blows the timing belt. The mechanic told him he blew the head gasket. So now he not only got a blown engine, but he's got a bad diagnostics charge. You need a head gasket job. Well, that's kind of true. The head's got to come off, but it ain't because it blew the head. It simply blew the timing belt. Well, not simply, but it blew the timing belt. Excuse me. He contacts me for an engine. I don't know why, but he found that I was a guy that knew a little bit. So I told him, I got this engine sitting here. Come get it, 350 bucks. That's what he was going to do. A couple months later, somehow that became my job. Well, for the engine and the installation, I know the engine's running, the car was running, we drove it, parked it, shut it off, running good. And engine install, probably like $800 on the install, $350 for the engine. So let's call it estimate $1,150. Well, he brings the car down, and I tell him, hey, I call it a dirty install. I could sell you this engine that you bought at a junkyard price. However, your car blew the timing belt. Do you want the timing belt to blow on this one too? I can install it dirty, or I can service it. I could change all the seals in it, put new timing belt parts on it. I could tear the engine apart. I don't know if it was leaking oil internally through the valve stem seals or not, but at least you'll have a fresh timing belt install. Fresh seals, shouldn't leak. That's going to add to the price. Let's say $500. So now you're looking at 1,700 bucks roughly. So I get into the car. There's a lot of stuff wrong under the hood of this car. Whoever did that engine swap prior to him buying it, they hacked up a lot of stuff. So, do I leave that stuff hacked up, or do I make it right for the engine that I'm putting in it? Well, I think I need to make it right. So here I am, putting the engine in there, making the associated things right. At the end of the day, with no travel, no living expense, no hotel fees, that tab came up to $2,300. We $500 above what the estimate was. So we started out with him buying a $350 engine. We ended up at $2,300. So we ended up $2,000 over what we initially anticipated. So what I learned out of that was, if you take an engine and you put all new seals in it, you're talking about $400, almost $500 worth of parts. You take a $350 NA engine, add $500-$600 worth of parts to it, you up to $900, $1,000 in making that engine in decent condition. It's got new seals in it that shouldn't leak, and it's got new timing belt parts on there that should be good for 70,000 miles. Most people in an old car like that, that's 6 years. So $2,300 for 6 years of driving is not bad as far as the engine is concerned. Put it all together, boom, he's good to go. You got to pay just to keep them running if you blow an engine. So lately, I've been getting contacted for people needing turbo T5 engines. I talked to a mechanic one time, Volvo guy. He's taking engines that go in T5 cars, mostly S60s. That framework of car, we call them RN engines in the Volvo world. He's selling those engines $3,800, refreshed, new cam seals, new timing belt parts. The engine's going to run. I don't know if he's putting a guarantee on them or not, but he's selling those engines like $3,800, and he hasn't pulled a cylinder head on those things. So lately, I've been getting people contact me asking for engines that took me 3 months in 3 states to find 12 years ago. These engines are really hard to find now. If you think that was hard, salvage yards don't have these engines. You can't contact Erie Volvo and get one of these engines. I'm telling people, hey, if you want the engine, I know it runs, no current issues. The car was parked or wrecked with this engine, $750. Not a bad price for a known good running engine. Now, if you want me to replace all the seals in it, timing belt, all that stuff, my time and parts probably gonna add $1,000 to that. So you're up from $7,500 to $2,750. Now, most of these cars have leaking valve stem seals after 28 years. I don't care how many miles the engine has on it. If that engine has been run for 28 years, those seals are likely hard as a rock, and it's going to consume oil. I did a cylinder head on my car, Panther. It burned the valve. When that happened, that car was burning a quart of oil every 750 miles around town. If I was on the highway straight shot, kinda, it was burning a quart of oil every 1,500 miles. I replaced the cylinder head on it, put in new valve stem seals, Volvo valve stem seals. That car went from burning a quart of oil every 750 miles to burning a quart of oil every 4,500 miles. So it really wasn't having no piston blow by. It was having valve stem seal leakage. I don't think you can complain on a car that's engine that's going 4,500 miles without burning just 1 quart of oil. So I advise people at the 30-year mark, if you have a car that you're planning on keeping for more than 2-3 years, if you don't want to be burning oil down that exhaust, clogging up that catalytic converter, pull the head, put new valve stem seals, clean up those valves. There was a car here in Cincinnati, a V70R. I believe it was red. At the dealer up here, a lady paid to have an engine replaced. They replaced the engine, didn't do a cylinder head job. And within 8 months, the car blew a valve. Boom, burnt valve. Now she either need a cylinder head rebuild or she need another engine. Are you gonna put another dirty engine in there that doesn't have any maintenance done on it and let that last 3 to 6 months and blow that? Or are you gonna have the engine going through so when you put it in there, it's in good shape? Now let me tell you something. If you took almost any car on this planet that's maybe, let's just call it 10 years old, and that car blows an engine for whatever reason, and you take that car to the dealer to get that engine replaced, you probably looking at 12 G's. Guy I know, used to be a friend of mine, he had a friend, girlfriend, her husband blew an engine in his Maserati, cost $38,000. So for normal cars, a third of that, 12 G's, not that real big of a deal. But how many of us got 12 G's laying around that we can throw an engine in the car? No, we just don't have it. And I'm offering to go through the engine, pull a cylinder head, put new valve stem seals in it, new head gasket, clean up the valves, and install it for less than 4 G's. Really not a bad price. That's an incredible price for something that should last 100,000 miles or more. That's 10 years. Where are you going to find a car at that's got an engine that's likely going to last 10 years? 30-year-old car. Man, most people buy a used car now, pay 10 G's for them. If that car lasts 3 years, 2, 3 years, they did good. Now you get a car that the engine lasts 10 years, 100,000, 120,000 miles, that's not a bad deal. So anyway, that's where I'm at with this thing. I have a couple of engines that I know were running well when the car parked. And I got one that may have a bad head gasket. But I'm at the point now with my cars, I'm not putting engine in my car unless I know the valve stem seals are less than 10 years old. And the only way to really know that is to pull that head and put them in. It just is what it is. If you drove your car to any garage and say, hey, my car is consuming oil, I need you to rebuild it. Usually with these Volvos with less than 400,000 miles on them, on an engine that's had good oil changes, the compression is fine, the rings are likely fine, the crank bearings and stuff are okay. You could probably get another 100,000 miles out of them if they've been taken care of properly. You can do a valve job on them, and a valve job will likely cost about $2,500 at any shop. You go out California, Chicago, Miami, Atlanta, where everything is twice the price. I'm talking to people out in California, especially in the Bay Area and Southern California. They're paying 5, 6 G's just to have a cylinder head pulled, having that head rebuilt and reinstalled. It ain't no joke, you know. So nobody's complaining about the price, but people are not excited about it, but it is what it is. If I gathered an engine, I probably had to buy a car to get it. And to sell you that engine after it's been serviced or the cylinder has been rebuilt, I mean, if you went to rebuild your own cylinder head right now, the parts are going to cost $600-700. Valve stem seals, head gasket, other gaskets and stuff involved, and replacing that cylinder. Now you can go buy some cheap head gasket kit for $140, $150, and then buy some head bolts, stuff like that. Good luck with that. You'll be back there in 2 years, maybe 3. But if you want to get the good quality parts that'll last the life of the engine, you're going to pay $600-700 for those parts. To have me pull a head, pull all the valves, clean all the valves, install new valve stem seals for $1,000, that's $300-400 worth of maintenance on cleaning that cylinder head. And then I might have to take it to a machine shop to have them make the head true and check it, make sure it ain't made true too many times where it's messed up. That's another $70-120. So to get that for $1,000 is cheap. If you drove your car somewhere, like I said, hey, I need a cylinder head job, you're looking at $2,300-2,500. Especially post-COVID. It may be higher than that now. But anyway, you got to pay to play. Driving cars ain't free. I run into people all the time that can't afford to drive. I mean, it's just simple. They don't make enough money to drive a car. And there are people out here that's driving their grandma's car. I knew I'll call him a prominent Volvo enthusiast that was, man, he was walking with his chest stuck out in the Volvo community. He was driving his grandma's car. He telling people how to fix theirs and having them buy stuff off of him. He couldn't afford to keep his own cars running. One of his cars was at somebody's shop for 3 years. At somebody sitting in somebody's driveway. They were taking little bits off of it. but he couldn't afford to keep his car on the road for a few years. So I know people, even people that claim to know what they're doing, they can't afford to drive, man. It's hard out here. And man, to me, having a car finance, especially an older car, that's a sad situation. But hey, this at the end of the day, again, you got to pay to play. Let me read some of these comments and answer some of these questions or address some of these comments. And I hope you guys enjoyed it live. I'm getting a little closer to ending this little walk here. Again, I apologize for the shaky camera work. I don't know how well YouTube has been doing with making it, not making people nauseous just watching this thing. Let's check out some of these comments here. I appreciate everybody that's here. Thank you very much. Let's talk about top dead center. I'll just scream. It looks fine. Can't play. Where's Robert? Don't see him in Albuquerque anymore. Hey, Cameron, man, you are up real early or not gone to bed yet. One or the other. How are you from India? I am doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Team Toyota is the only vehicle you'll ever have to buy. Yeah, unless you get into a bad accident, one of them things, man. I don't like being maimed. And I'm not trying to down other manufacturers, but some of these cars, they just not made to take a hit. And talking about the rust, good Lord. Turbo equal your car is rusting out. IVG, I don't know what that means. Toyota Corolla, good for 250. Man, whoever, let me tell you something, Gloria. Toyota Corollas are 500,000 mile cars. If you can get that car away from where it would rust, there's probably just as many 750,000 mile Toyota Corollas than any other car on the market. A Toyota Corolla is probably the best box. The one just passed me just now. Here it is. That's probably the cheapest car you could buy and never have to worry about that thing. My aunt had one. Now hers might have had 80,000 miles at 20 years, but those are 750,000 mile cars. So don't downplay no Toyota Corolla. Put the engine on Buster Brown's. Let me tell you something. Buster Brown got his name from me for a reason, because he was a buster, always trying to get me to do work for nothing. Buster, man, I gotta pay rent too, man. Come on. He wanted Buster Brown once gave me a set of jewels for something he wanted for one of his cars. I asked him 3 times, are you sure you want to give me a set of jewels? $300 jewels for this $20 part? Are you sure? Yep, he was that cheap. He would sacrifice valuable stuff to not have to come out of his pocket for something. What's up? When I change the immobilizer, do I have to disconnect the battery? Yeah, I would. But you know, it's not gonna make or break whether or not that immobilizer system works. As long as the key's out of the ignition, it ain't that big deal. My last bowel movement, man. Let's talk about that. I don't give a no, I'm just kidding. Man, I have 2-3 a day, man. I'm what they consider healthy when it comes to that. White Summit. I can send you a picture of the next one if you like. Just go to my page. You can inspect it. Tell me how you think I need to tweak my diet to make all that better. Or is that your way of saying I'm full of crap? Is Grady my dad? No, man, Grady's a lot taller than me. My dad is passed. never really got into the movies. However, my dad resembled Arthur Ashe. People used to mistake him for Arthur Ashe. Had that fro like they did back in those days. And he's just my dad. Special in that way. We're back on the bowel movement. These people don't want to pay for maintenance. No, they don't want to pay for maintenance. They want to pay for repairs. Please, somebody give me some money so I can get my car fixed. They don't want to pay for it with their money. They want to pay for it with somebody else's money. Does Buster Brown swap engines with his eyes closed? Man, Buster Brown, you know, he's a soft mechanic. He normally has to get help with stuff like that. He'll come spend 4 or 5 hours with you until you beg him to leave. You'll do the work on his car at minimum cost just to get him to leave, because he's sucking up so much of your time talking about it. You know, that's why he's a buster. Somebody has a 960. Love that car, man. I did too. The Volvo guy. Man, I don't care about you being a Homo sapien. Man, we're just here having fun with cars. So anyway, just keep that in mind. I got a message this morning. I opened up. Somebody asked me, is there a turbo kit for their NAS70, which is just like an 850. But let me tell you something, man. It's way cheaper in today's presence to purchase a turbo car than it would be to turbocharge a non-turbo car and get that thing to run right. You know, I don't tell people what you can't do, because if you have enough money and enough time, there's a lot of things you could do. But should you do it? No, don't waste money doing that. You could take half of that money you would waste making that car turbo and donate it to some women's shelter or kids for eyeglasses or some other useful way to blow $2,500 versus taking $5,000, making a car turbo and it's still not running right. Buy you a decent car that has a turbo, do some maintenance on it, and take that other $2,500 and give it to some worthy cause. You know, don't waste money doing stuff that just ain't smart. You know, I mean, you can get smart learning how to make a car run well that was never meant to have a turbo. But I don't know if that's the kind of smarts you want. You know, not all lessons are good lessons. Some lessons are just useless. All right, with that, I'm about home. I'm out. There is PR. That car runs great. It's supposed to have an engine